Well, Ralph Hardy, I'm looking forward to your visit to North Carolina Bookwatch to talk about your new book, Argos.
Well, thank you, DG. Argos is a retelling of the Odyssey, told from the viewpoint of Odysseus' dog, Argos, who is mentioned for 17 lines in the Odyssey. And I came upon a reference to Argos once a few years ago on the web, and it struck a bell, and I went back and pulled down my old copy of the Odyssey and looked in the index, and there he was, Argos.
What does he do in the real? He's just there.
He's there as a shepherd, and he's there when Odysseus returns. He's a sheepdog, and he's there when Odysseus returns. And he's been loyal to Odysseus the entire time, even though Odysseus has been gone for 20 years fighting the Trojan War and trying to get back, of course. And I wanted to tell the story of what happens on Ithaca while Odysseus has been gone, Ithaca, the land that he's from. And because Odysseus had a young son named Telemachus, he's growing up without a father, and his wife, who's alone except with the servants, and the suitors are coming to try to convince her to marry them. But really, it's a boy and his dog story. And so I wanted to tell that story, what happened on Ithaca while Odysseus has been gone for 20 years.
Well, is this a story about Odysseus, or is it a story about what's going on the island while he's gone?
Well, I try to do both. I try to faithfully retell the Odyssey and give kind of an entree for young readers who haven't read the Odyssey yet and might read it in 9th grade, where it's required in North Carolina 9th grade classes. And also tell the creative side of what did happen. So no one has told that version before, so I could be a little more creative and make up my own stories about what happened on Ithaca.
What kinds of things are happening, or do you have happening to Argos the dog?
Well, I have a wolf pack who's coming down from the western part of the island, who's because most of the men are gone fighting with Odysseus, and so there's no one to keep them at bay. And so Argos has to take on the burden himself to get rid of that wolf pack. And his son is threatened. His son needs to learn how to hunt. Telemachus needs to learn how to hunt. There's no one to teach him. And so Argos teaches him how to hunt deer and boar. In fact, there are several scenes where they hunt boar, and it's fairly exciting scenes, I think. And then the suitors are coming in to convince Penelope, Odysseus' wife, to marry one of them. And they're known as the craven suitors by Homer himself. And so Argos has to keep an eye on them as well and make sure they don't transgress the boundaries. Some of them stay late a couple nights, and he doesn't like that, and so he chases them away. So all those things happen.
Well, Argos, the dog, has the power to talk, or
Yes.
Maybe not to humans.
Right.
What's the deal? He can talk to animals, but not to humans.
I postulate that there's kind of a common tongue that most of the animals can speak, maybe telepathically or something, but so he can speak to the seagulls. And one thing I did, I tried to make sure all the animals had a unique voice. So the seagulls act as a Greek chorus. They repeat themselves. The sea turtles have a little lisp. And the ravens speak one way. They're very vain, of course, so I try to imbue each of the animals who come on the island with a certain characteristic that they're known for. You know, the ravens think they're very smart, and the geese are kind of stupid, and the sheep are even dumber, you know, that kind of thing. And so that was fun. That was a fun thing to invent.
Now, who should read this?
Well, I think anyone between the ages of 8 and 14, and then adults, because a lot of adults either have forgotten the Odyssey or they never got a chance to read it, and a lot of them are, so both groups, I think, should read it.
I would just have to say, based on my experience, that somebody who maybe didn't understand the Odyssey when they were coming along can read this one and appreciate the beauty of the story as you and Argos have retold it.
Well, I hope so. Thank you. I try to tell the story a little more chronologically. In the Odyssey, it goes back and forth, and so by telling it chronologically, it's easier to follow.
It's going to be fun. Look forward to having you on North Carolina Bookwatch.
Well, thank you.